It's time for a deep dive on University of Portland basketball.
This is home for me, and so to be able to take on this challenge and bring the city in with the rest of the UP family, I'm very excited about that.
The inside story on the Pilots.
In order for us to get to where we want to go, we want to always make sure we protect our home court. We want to compete. We want to play harder than our opponent. We want to play together. Last thing, guys, let's enjoy the moment.
This is the Terry Porter Show, brought to you on 910 ESPN Portland by your local Les Schwab Tire Center, by U.S. Bank, Coca-Cola, by Nike, Alaska Airlines, Geico, by AAA Oregon, and by Mart. Now here's the voice of the Pilots, Jason Swigard.
Good evening, welcome in. Terry Porter, Coach's Show here for the next hour. It was chilly out there, Coach. I opened the door to let you in, and I was like, oh, the sun went down. You don't have your signature.
I know. I left it in the car. I didn't think it was that cold. I stepped out like, oh, my head.
Well, fortunately, no weather though in the forecast. It's supposed to warm up and get wet. So,
well, that's okay. I'll take
it's
that.
Okay.
Warm up and get wet. That's okay. That's
well,
right.
we need the child center to get wet with some threes here.
Yeah, exactly. Rain and threes. That'll be nice.
Rain and threes. We'd like to see that as the Pilots get set for a. 2 games at home this week. We'll preview those against San Diego, who was dinged up, and then Gonzaga, who is now all healthy. That'll be a healthy task in and of itself on Saturday. That game is sold out, so if you have tickets, make sure you come early. Parking will be at a premium. They'll open the doors early at 5:30 for you. It'll be a purple out, so everybody wear your purple. Make sure you come drowned out the Zag fans that made the trip. So we're looking forward towards that. But first, we'll recap a tough week for the Pilots and kind of work through things and see how Coach and his staff are working with the kids in trying to find some solutions from some of the things that have kind of started to become a little bit of a trend. So we'll work on that here for the next hour. We'd love to hear your phone calls. If you have any questions or comments for the coach, 503-542-0910 or at 877-535-9100. And I guess we'll just dive in. Last week, always a tough trip to go to Provo. Mm-hmm. Even more tough when it's in the middle of the week. It's the first game, and you've got to travel back. But coming into it, the guys, you're always wondering, it's a tough place to play. BYU hadn't been home in a month, and you knew that they were going to come out and kind of deliver that shot. First couple of minutes were back and forth, and then it came, an 18-0 run after taking a 4-2 lead early on, and it was tough. The offense there just got stymied. As you went back and you worked through everything, was there something that you noticed in particular? Was it just shots not going in for the guys, or when you're in a stretch like that, what's kind of the conversation on the sideline so coaches can kind of, you're frustrated, you're not seeing the ball go in, but how do you keep your wits about you to remember, okay, it's the start of the game and work through and try and remain sane and calm to try and find the solution to get the guys going again?
Well, you as you mentioned to begin with, we knew they were going to come out and be extremely aggressive. Like you said, they have been on the road and been tested on the road, and they was excited about getting home. For us, we know it was important about the way we get started. Whenever we play on the road, there's key things that we always talk about in regards to how we have to play. And it's turnovers, it's having good quality possessions. And so quality possessions is not having live turnovers, moving the ball from one side to the other. So now you're talking there's multiple passes, and you got a chance to shift the defense and give us a chance to drive it or get a post up and get a quality possession and make them work. And then the last thing is it's always offensive rebounds. And so those 3 areas of the game are the areas we really look at and we try to talk a lot about during our prep for that week. And then obviously throughout the game, halftime, timeouts, we look at the stat sheet, we look at our play sheets and see exactly, how many possessions we had that we had, 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 passes, and what those results were. And so we share that with the players. And, for the most part, when you look at those stretches where they went on an 18-0 run, a lot of it was turnovers. And so we tried to talk a lot about cleaning up and just not making the same mistakes and not shooting ourselves in the foot, so to speak. And that's something we got to continue to learn. Again, we want these kids to grow up, but they're still freshmen and sophomores. Although they've been playing a lot of minutes, they still are making mistakes that we hope they're learning from and be able to move on and not have those type of mistakes going forward.
Well, despite that drought, 11 minutes between field goals. He had some free throws in there to start to bring some life back. We're still aggressive. He got him into foul trouble. And then all of a sudden, lightning struck. Guys got hot. 14-3 run. You get within 3 points there before they hit a three right at the halftime buzzer to go in 6. And I guess, those of us that are watching fans are like, and what changed? What did you notice change? Obviously, taking care of the basketball, not turning it over. But in terms of the offense, is it just guys started making shots, or was there something different that happened in terms of getting guys better shots, wide open looks, or more penetration going to the basket, sort of those situations that allowed you to unlock that offense and get going?
Well, we talked about offensive rebounds. There was a lot of possessions during that stretch where we allowed them to have second offensive rebounds and extra possessions. That stretch, we stopped them from getting extra shots. It's one and done, and then we were able to get out and get in open court and really attack them by our ability to drive it and kick it, or kick it ahead and shot fake and drive it. And we were able to get shots before their defense was set, and that really helped us. And again, at the half court, when they did score, I thought we did a much better job in our half-court offense. The ball was moving. We got, like we say, paint touches, so the ball was moved from side to side, and it was actually got in the paint, then kicked out, and gave us some opportunities to get wide-open looks. And so those are things that we have to continue to get better at and continue to grow in, because we're not both halves we had stretches where 8 to 10 possessions where we just came up empty. And you just can't do that on the road. You can't do it at home, but you really can't do it on the road against teams in our conference.
And so down 6 at halftime, though, but had been down, I think, 21 at one point, got it all the way back. And then the one thing BYU hadn't done early, Yoeli Childs got into some early foul trouble, so he was not as much of a factor in that first half. And Dave Rose says we're running the offense through him in the second half. He had 17 points. Or 20 points, 20 of his 27, 7 boards, and he decided to go into beast mode himself and prove too much, and needing then the defense to collapse to him allowed other guys then later on to get open looks.
Yeah, they went through a little stretch. We probably should have made an adjustment a little sooner than we did, but he got hot. He made some jumpers, made some threes. Again, he's not a great three-point shooter, but he's been shooting them this year. He's trying to expand his game. And he was able to knock some down and get on the roll in the second half. And so from that standpoint, we just didn't do a good enough job of making him work as much on his points as we did in the first half. And give him credit, he started making plays, and we just didn't have an answer for him.
So BYU close that one out 79-56. Turnaround, come home, facing a Pacific team that has had a similarly rough start. They were looking for their first conference win, and they were still limited in their roster. Damon Stoudemire coming in. You knew the 3 guys that were going to be a big factor for them in Tripp and Towns and Gallinap. But this game, getting off to a great start, it was back and forth. Everybody was ready to go. Didn't seem to be any residual effects from the midweek travel and that disrupting their schedule. And we were tied at 16-16 midway through the first half. What did you like about the way your team responded there at the beginning of the game against Pacific?
Just, again, thought that we moved the ball well. We had some possessions where we didn't do some things we need to do. But overall, I thought, the ball movement was good. Our defense was pretty solid. We didn't allow them to get anything in transition. And early on, we didn't allow them to get to the baskets as much. Played some zone, mostly zone. Played some man, mixed some man in there as well. But early on, I think our defense kind of just did a good job of making them one and done and making them get some contested shots.
They go to the bench, bring Lafayette Dorsey in, and all of a sudden he gets red hot. Not one of their main three-point shooters. I thought Sonny, the freshman, you guys were well aware of, closed down on him for the most part. Gallinat wasn't too much of a factor there early on. But when a guy comes in off the bench and just for whatever reason is hot, how does that then affect what you have to do and adjust? The zone had been working, as you mentioned. You guys were getting rebounds and stuff, and somebody comes in and starts busting it that wasn't necessarily in the scouting report. What do you have to do to readjust at that point?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think when you try to play your percentages as you scout your opponent, and Gallinat and the freshman, 14, both of them shot the ball very well from 3, 40%. Thought our guys did a good job of knowing where those guys were at times. And Dorsey just got hot on a couple of shots where he just didn't have it was 2-on-1 situations on the weak side, and he happened to catch it. And we stunned it at him instead of full rotating and allowing Gallinat, number 14, to get wide open shots in the corner. He hit a couple, and then we talked about it at half, at the timeout, that we should get closer to him. And so just one of those things that, a guy who got hot, who didn't come in that game, didn't shoot it really well. I think he was in the 20s, and he got hot. He made 4. When they really needed him to kind of get some shots being knocked down, and kind of gave him that life. And we tried to make some adjustments, but the damage was done for him in regards to his confidence. Pacific
went on another run, 13-0 run right there from the 11-minute mark down to about the 6-minute mark. Was there anything similar in that stretch, the BYU stretch, some of the other stretches that you guys are noticing now, whether it's bench starters, those sorts of things? What trends are you starting to see when those droughts happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes there have been, more, I guess you could say they're bench guys. But, I mean, again, technically, he's on the bench. He was a starter for us. Jacob, someone who started early in the year because of his injury, now he's working his way back. So it's not totally like they're all bench guys. We have guys who started on that floor as well. And so it's just we got to be able to make shots. It comes down to us being able to execute, making shots, and not turning it over. And I think during that stretch, we had guys make good shots, get good looks, and just didn't fall. I mean, Jacobs had some good looks while he's been on the floor. Franklin's had some good looks while he's been on the floor. And even the bigs have had opportunities at the rim, around the rim, and we just got to make plays and make shots. I mean, it kind of basically boils down to that in regards when we get opportunities. And our turnovers, we got to shrink our turnovers. I mean, our bigs, we've had on average 3 to 5 of those guys, 3 to 5 illegal screen calls, and that's empty possession. And we got to clean that up. We talked about it. We've been working on it in practice every day, and now we got to have some carryover into the games.
Once again, though, team responds, get it back to 7 there at halftime, and then early on in the second half, 4 different occasions, 4 or 5 different possessions where within a bucket could have tied or taken the lead. What was the difference there in just not being able to get over the hump when you had those opportunities? Defensively, shored everything up, got the rebounding, got out to the shooters, and giving yourselves all the opportunities in the world to go on a run yourselves.
Well, I mean, the biggest key to that, we're just not getting guys to make timely shots. I mean, they may get them, and we need that shot to go down, and it doesn't go down. I mean, we may work a play and do a great job on that possession, get the penetration we need, get the swing in regards to the ball finding the right guy, and then he doesn't make the shot. And so as a coach, you're grateful that we did everything we were supposed to do to get the best quality shot for that possession, and the kid misses it, and that's just, it's just part of it. And especially, again, we have to live with that when it's guys that we feel who can knock those shots down consistently. We just need them to step up and just knock them down. They will.
And then Jahlil Tripp kind of took over down the stretch, 11.7 boards in the second half, kind of exerting his presence there. Tried to make a valiant effort, got some shots late, but couldn't make enough free throws down the stretch. And Pacific left with a 65-57 victory. So that's the recap. Tough week for the Pilots. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the individual performances, who's been stock rising. Obviously, some of the Chris Sean and Jacob Tryon still getting into the mix where they're at. And then Josh McSwiggan as well, all of a sudden had a real difficult time getting his offense going. So your thoughts there and what we can do to, or what we might see to try and get him unlocked as the Pilots get looking at a good week of home action, taking on San Diego on Thursday, Gonzaga on Saturday. Just getting going here with the Terry Porter Coaches Show. We'll be back here shortly on 910 ESPN Portland.
At Les Schwab Tires, we believe there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad tires. Rain? No problem. Sleet? Sounds good. Flash flood advisories due to winter storms? Well, you might want to stay off the roads for that one. So whatever the forecast holds, now's a good time to come by and let us take a look. We'll let you know if you need adjustments for the season, or for that matter, if you don't. Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters.
University of Portland alums and friends, you can receive a special discount on Geico Auto Insurance. Geico offers great rates, exceptional 24-hour service, fast, fair claims, and high-quality insurance for over 1.5 million policyholders. Visit geico.com/alum/Portland or call 1-800-368-2731 to find out how much you can save today. Be sure to mention the University of Portland to receive this special Geico discount. UP alums and friends, take advantage of this great opportunity to save on car insurance and support the UP Alumni Office.
At AAA, we got this.
Flat tire first thing in the morning?
We got this.
Battery dead and trying to get home?
We got this.
Out of gas and way out of town?
We got this. We don't leave details to chance because the road is no place for surprises.
That's why AAA is the trusted leader in roadside assistance.
For us, it's not an add-on. It's not a side gig. It's what we do 24/7, 365 for the last 100 years and running.
So when you call, you know
we got this.
Join us at AAA.com and keep life going.
We know that when you own a business, success is earned every day through countless hours of hard work. And with each goal reached, you have 5 more in the works. Because your business is unstoppable, just like you.
A business quick loan from U.S. Bank may help your business grow with a customized approach to financing. U.S. Bank, the power of possible. Credit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association and are subject to normal credit approval and program guidelines. See a banker for details. Equal housing lender. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association, member FDIC.
My car won't start.
Sounds like the battery. Time to call AAA.
I don't have AAA. I've got something else. Came with the car, I think.
It's okay. I got this. I made the call. AAA on the way.
How'd you do that? This isn't even your car.
That's okay. AAA goes with me, not my car. So no worrying who to call or what you might get when or if they arrive.
Well, I'm impressed.
I wouldn't go anywhere without AAA. We got this.
Join us at AAA.com and keep life going.
When you travel the Northwest, stay where exceptional has never been so affordable. Stay at an Oxford Suites or at the award-winning Oxford Hotel. With locations in Oregon, Washington, California, and Idaho, the family-owned Oxford Suites and Hotel offer amenities you simply won't find anywhere else. Traveling for team events? Take advantage of special discounted rates. Book online at oxfordsuites.com and use promo code PILOTS or call our sales team for groups of 10 rooms or more. Subject to availability. Restrictions apply. Stay where exceptional has never been so affordable. Stay at an Oxford Suites or the Oxford Hotel. Visit oxfordsuites.com today.
The inside story on Portland Pilots basketball. This is the Terry Porter Show on 910 ESPN Portland. Here again is Jason Swigard.
Alongside Coach Terry Porter here for the remainder of the hour. Still time for your phone calls, 503-542-0910 or 877-535-9100. So the Pilots now still looking for their first victory in conference play. 0-3 to start with a tough schedule, although they're all tough this year in the West Coast Conference, as everybody's finding out. 1, it's tough to win on the road. 2, some teams are dealing with various issues, getting banged up, and that could be the case for San Diego that comes to town on Thursday. We'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. But as we break down some of the numbers here individually for players, once again, the offense really being carried of late by JoJo Walker and Marcus Shaver Jr. They've been in double figures most of the last 7 or 8 games for them, but they're really having to do it by themselves. Just 27 assists on 61 made field goals so far in conference play. What have you liked from what they've provided you, keeping the team in ball games, and where maybe can they get a little more assistance or make things easier for themselves moving forward?
Well, I think, again, guys, our shooters just have to, I think they will find their rhythm and start knocking down shots. You look at probably our next 3 consistent shooters are Franklin, Josh, and probably Jacob. and they're struggling right now. They're all under 30%, and they've had for the most part pretty clean looks. I think as we review tape and look at those guys getting those shots, they got to knock them down. Turnovers is always important, something important, and we got to clean that up. 48 turnovers again. It's not like they're live turnovers. There's charges, there's screening being sets and things of those we got to try to clean up and really eliminate those type of turnovers from our games. And then our ability to step up and knock free throws down. We've not done a good job of doing that in little stretches here, key games where we needed it, to try to kill the flow of us not getting any points. Guys have gone to the free throw line and they haven't been able to make those and convert those. A lot of times, some of my first ends are 1-and-1s, and so those are area of the game where I don't know how you simulate what happens in the game to practice. Because we've tried about everything. We've tried about everything in regards to making them run if they miss and trying to validate certain things in practice and try as best we can, have them run and then do some free throws. And they've all shot at pretty good percentages as we keep track of what their percentages are in practice. But in the games, I guess the adrenaline's flowing more, and we're just not doing a consistent job of knocking down those free throws. So we just got to keep working at it. We got to keep working at it. We have a lot of guys that are good shooting. I have faith that they will start knocking down and doing the things they have to do with their routine at the free throw line and being more consistent when they get those opportunities to get those free throw attempts.
Well, and one of the guys you mentioned, Josh McSwiggan, shot over 40% from three-point range last year, one of the top scorers on the team. And all of a sudden, I don't know if teams have figured out how to take him out of the equation. He's only averaging 6 points a game in conference play, 2 of 10 from three-point range. What's going to be the key for Josh to reinsert himself, or do you have to force the issue a little bit with him, or get him to force the issue a little bit, or kind of go away from him and let it flow naturally? What's kind of the thought process in getting him going?
Yeah, I think you have to try to get him some looks, and we've tried to get him a couple looks at start of game to kind of get him involved with some games. The thing that'll help, not always in half court. You try to teams are trying to take him away or take away his easy look opportunity. So our ability to get out, get stops, and get out in open court is our best opportunity for him to get nice, clean looks. And we got to start playing at a bigger pace, a faster pace, and have better spacing and give him opportunities to get drives and kicks and get shots that way. But again, I got to do a better job of getting him maybe more shots. He's got to be a little bit more aggressive as well himself for those opportunities. Don't just settle all the time, but drive it. And especially when you go through a stretch where maybe you haven't touched it, shot fake, because they know he's a great shooter. Shot fake and try to get to the rim, try to draw fouls and get to the free throw line, and that'll help as well in regards to when you go through a stretch where you're just not shooting it well and you're trying to find your rhythm. I've always found just seeing the ball go through the net really helps you just mentally, psychologically, to see that happen, and then you can kind of find your rhythm in the game.
Well, you've mentioned, I think all season long, you like to see this team play at the more up-tempo pace, and sometimes just getting out before the defense can get set up and just making basketball plays. Are there ways that you and the coaching staff can maybe manufacture that pace a little bit more for him here? Mm-hmm. And how much, obviously you've been working now for 60% of the season on certain things and philosophies. How difficult is it to change up significant portions of the philosophy and the strategies that you've been working on all season to try and take advantage maybe of that up-tempo a little bit more as we get further into conference play?
Yeah, I think when we play a bigger lineup, Josh now is a three-man, and it makes it a little bit more difficult for him to get shots when he's at the three. But when he has at the four, because now we have him at the four, and he can get out and probably outrun any four-man in this league for the most part. So we have a chance to play a little bit more up-tempo. We have guys now, you have four guys that can shot fake and put the ball on the floor and make plays. When you play with two bigs, you have to try to make sure that there's a reason we think we could do that, and we try to take advantage of maybe attacking our opponents in the paint. Last game, Pacific, we thought we could do that, and they did a good job of fronting us, but we didn't do a good job of having the patience to try to go high-low and work those height advantage and the size advantage that we had on some of those matchups, skipping the ball and trying to, again, have that big chase and go get some post-ups. And so we got to do a better job going into games of understanding that. And then when we get on the floor, the guys got to see that as well. But in regards to Josh, I think, again, tempo is going to be important for him to get back on track and for everybody to get back on track. We got to get more shot attempts up than what we're getting in conference so far.
Well, and you mentioned the bigs, and I know the two bigs obviously certainly helps on the glass and keeping things even. The rebounding totals were pretty even against Pacific, so that's the benefit there. Obviously, the shot blocking that they provide in the paint too. Have you, through stats and analytics and the different tools that you guys have you determined maybe what the best combination is, or how do you go about trying to? I know if somebody gets hot, has a good matchup, you're going to go with the hot hand. But in terms of generally, how do you go determining which is going to be the best sort of combination of the bigs for any particular matchup?
Well, I mean, it just depends on, Jacob's a 4. Him and Hugh, we like those guys because that's a true inside out. D and Theo, we like those guys because they're more the rebounders, shot blockers kind of guys. And so that's why a lot of times we try to start off with D and Theo. Rim protectors are better defensive rebounders that have some physicality to them. And so we try to have that start and that presence when we start games. And then it's just, who's in foul trouble, who's not in foul trouble. And in regards to that, we're playing big or we're playing small. What's that look like? And that's kind of how we look at it. That's kind of what we talk about as a staff, and we try to execute that into games. Every game, you can talk as much as you want as a staff. You can't predict what happens. There's always things you have to make adjustments on the fly. And sometimes, throughout the game, sometimes it's been D and Hugh on the floor together. Northridge, they were on the floor and they did good. But normally it just depends on who's rolling that night. If someone's, having a good night, we try to say, okay, who's the other big that will really complement him well to try to get those guys continue to play and have good opportunities and good possessions.
And over the last couple of games, you've had your full complement of players back. Krishan Clark making his debut in that BYU game. Had a couple of buckets go down there with the steal. And so combined, he's got, I think he had 9 points or so, 2 of 12 from the floor, 8 boards, 28 minutes, a lot of energy. What have you liked so far from Krishan here in his debut after working so hard over the last 3 years to get back, and what do you want him to now kind of focus on that he's kicked the rust off a little bit and start working on some of the finer points?
Well, I don't think the rust is still off. I see 3-4 years without playing in a meaningful game. I think it's something where, he still had minute restrictions on, so he's still working through it. We try to limit him going long stretches. And so, but what I like about him is him having good energy, can get to the rim, can be a good passer, and he can guard. And so, it gives us another perimeter that we feel comfortable with putting out there, who can space it and make good decisions. And so, he'll slowly continue to get, who knows how many games it's going to take him. But I think that him just getting out there and getting more and more comfortable game by game is going to be something that's going to be important for us down the stretch.
And as you look, I know you played 10 or 11 guys here recently, some of it out of necessity, trying to find a spark there when the offense goes cold. I know ideally you prefer to pare that down a little bit, but how do you go about now? Is it time to narrowing things down, or do you keep opening it up until you can kind of find the right combination that you can count on consistently to deliver at both ends of the floor?
Yeah, this is, like you said, we've played a good portion of the season. And because of the injuries with Jacob and Krishan, we still had to have, different lineups. And so it's been more at this junction than I would like to go as deep as we've been going. But, guys are struggling. We're trying to find the right combination. That's going to take a while to try to figure out what that looks like and who we can, put on the floor at certain times.
Well, we'll continue that discussion as we start to turn the page, look ahead to the week upcoming. Pilots, one, it'll be nice to be home all weekend, not worrying about travel and flights and getting canceled and all that fun stuff. So that'll be good. Guys will know that they're in their own beds, but a couple of tough opponents coming in. So we'll start to look ahead towards those two opponents as we continue on. Halfway through here with head coach Terry Porter. This is the Terry Porter Coaches Show on 910 ESPN Portland.
Need a place to stay? We've got the beds for you. Portland North Marriott's is proud to be a partner of the University of Portland. The hotels are conveniently located off I-5, 2 exits away. Portland North Marriott's and University of Portland are excited to announce a special discounted rate for alumni and members of the UP family. Rates are available year-round, but discounts vary based on availability. Mention UP and the discount will be applied to your reservation. Never skip a beat by staying with Portland North Marriott's. Visit Marriott.com and reserve your room today.
This is where you can discover who you are.
And who you want to be.
Where you can find your place in the world.
And discover how to make it better.
Where you can explore your faith and spirituality.
And use them to strengthen your community.
Where you will learn not just to make a living,
but how to live your life.
This is the University of Portland.
Providence Wellness Watch from Providence Heart and Vascular Institute on PlaySmart heart screenings for young people.
Most kids' hearts are healthy, thank goodness, but a small number of kids will have hidden heart defects that you wouldn't know about unless you did testing. PlaySmart is a free screening program for kids ages 12 through 18. We perform a blood pressure measurement, an electrocardiogram. It takes less than 10 minutes, painless, non-invasive, and it gives cardiologists a lot of information so that we can assess risk. Hidden heart defects are not common, but we want to know about them. All kids can be at risk, and therefore we want to give all kids the opportunity to have a free screening. We want our kids to stay active throughout the school year and throughout the summer, so now's a great time to get screened and to learn more about your heart.
To learn more about Providence Heart and Vascular Institute's PlaySmart screenings for kids ages 12 to 18, visit playsmartgetscreened.org.
Coke Zero Sugar. Prepare to have your mind blown by Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Lion Roar for 0 calories. Lasers for 0 sugar. Lions playing laser guitars for great Coke taste. Then explode!
Okay, let's stop, please. Yeah, that's not going to convince anyone. Let's just say this. Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. And none of this over-the-top hype and noise is going to convince you that Coke Zero Sugar tastes like a Coke, because the only thing that'll make you believe that is trying it yourself.
And lasers!
No lasers.
Lion Roar!
No. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Great Coke taste. Pick one up and try it today.
You're listening to the Terry Porter Show on 910 ESPN Portland. With the coach, here's your host, Jason Swigart.
Welcome back in. Here with head coach Terry Porter. Starting to turn the page, look ahead towards the week coming up. As we mentioned, home games Thursday night against San Diego. We'll have the pregame happy hour going on there. $1 off beer specials from the time the doors open up until tip-off. We'll have that for Gonzaga, too. Gonzaga is sold out. So if you do not have a ticket, you can watch that one on Root Sports. Of course, turn the audio down, turn us up. And that'll open at 5:30. Well, you never know. Sometimes you get a little commentary from Coach Porter because he's right next to me. You can still set a great screen, by the way.
Some of my guys probably say I never did that. That wasn't one of my strong points, I don't think.
Well, you said great screen, so you can see our heads bobbing back and forth trying to catch the action there as it'll be Purple Out night, mascot night as well. So when you're coming down for Gonzaga, wear your purple. And then tickets are available for the rest of the home games except for Gonzaga. You can get a hold of the box office at 503-943-GO-UP or online, portlandpilots.com/tickets. And if you log on there, they'll have the different promotional events going on as well. the rest of the season. Still a lot of home action coming up. It was funny. We were looking tonight. Tonight's one of those nights. Upsets. Number 1 Duke falls to Syracuse. Florida State, after nearly knocking off Duke over the weekend, they get hammered on the road at Pittsburgh. Nebraska knocks off Indiana. Bloomington. Kansas is struggling with Texas at home. Maryland at home. 2-point lead over Wisconsin. So we're getting to that point of the season now where everybody's seen everybody enough. You get in a conference play where there's a lot of familiarity, and so it tends to be what the options are, your secondary plays, and kind of getting back to who you are. What do you think you can take advantage as you look at these two teams? We'll get into some of the specifics, but knowing we're getting to this season, a portion of the season, everybody's a little tired, everybody's a little banged up. Where can you find some life for this team and get them excited, get them really going, getting that fire going? Especially, we know we've seen, tough starts, those droughts coming in the first half. How do you help your team sort of throw the first punch?
Yeah, well, I think we have to. We've looked at those stretches, what happened, offensive possessions, what's been the trend in that. Maybe having more starters on the floor, guys who've been there and really work on focusing on the ability to get out and really push the pace and try to make sure we do a good job on misses. The guys are running out and we're able to skip passes and attack off the bounce, get some post-ups, and just move the ball quicker with more of a sense of urgency and a purpose at the offensive, harder cuts and things of that nature that's going to help us maybe get some easy backdoor, some easy shots, draw some fouls, I think, early on to kind of get us and be able to knock down some free throws. Those are things that we're really trying to talk about in regards to what we didn't consistently do during those stretches is the things we've talked about them trying to do. And it stems first to our ability to really get out in open court and try to get some easy baskets that way. It's just nobody wants to and can play with any type of success going up against a team's set defense. And so we got to make sure we do a good job at our defensive end, make sure that our opponents are one and done. And then we're pushing it with a sense of urgency. We're trying to attack gaps, and we're trying to draw defenders and then kick it out for our next opportunity for a wide open shot.
And getting guys to play free, I guess, not worry about the mistakes and how much that can weigh on you. We mentioned the turnovers, averaging 16 turnovers a game here to start conference play, and that can weigh on guys more mentally than maybe physically. Mm-hmm. How do you help free them up mentally to not worry about the mistakes, but trust the good things that you've seen them be able to do throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, so when you look at the turnovers, and I go back to what kind of turnovers are there, and that's something we've done. We've just taken all our turnovers and we had our guys look at all the turnovers, and we've talked about screening, that things we can't do. Obviously, that's something that's very important. Charges, being more under control, jump stopping. Again, those I say are the two things that really jump out at us in regards to what's been consistent during those stretches where we have not executed well offensively. Guys trying to set a screen, he gets a charge, he gets an offensive screening call, and then a guy who may have an advantage. And, most good teams will have a second defender, and they come over, and we're not jump stopping, and we're leaving our feet trying to make passes. We're leaving our feet, and we're not doing a good job of, keeping our dribble and then doing a good job of making that next play and trust to pass.
How have I chatted with you a little bit when you got in here before the show, but how are the guys holding up mentally? It's been a tough road to hoe here of late. With some tough opponents, obviously the injuries at the beginning of the season, so everything's jumbled up, but still a lot of season left and a lot of opportunity to make some hay. This conference is wide open outside of Gonzaga. How are they holding up mentally for you so far?
I think their spirits have been really good. I think our practices have had good spirits in it. They've been very active. Guys are talking. So from that standpoint, it's good. I mean, I think like anything, we focus on those stretches of games where we really have had good stretches, and we've talked about those are the things where we got to get extension and more consistency and be able to get to that more on a regular basis and not go through the droughts that we've been going through. So that's something that I think we're going to get to for sure. Guys are working hard. We're watching film. We're doing the things we have to do. We keep showing them the things that we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot and causing our own frustrations and in regards to just turning it over, not being sharp and being clean with our offense possession. So those are the things we hope they're going from the watching it on film to practice, cleaning it up, and then being able to third phase of that is getting it into our games.
Do you show them other big upsets? Do you mention, hey, everybody's ripe for the pick in here as you get ready to face number 5 Gonzaga, like Syracuse went into Cameron and knocked them out, and Pittsburgh took down Florida State? Is that something you mention, or do you just really focus on your own team at this point?
Oh, you always talk about the opportunity when you have an elite team like Gonzaga coming in. But, for us, it's one game at a time. We worry about San Diego first. I mean, when you're trying to get your first conference win, it's San Diego is your first, and all your focus is doing with that. And then, obviously, you move to Gonzaga. You talk about, obviously, all the great things they can do. But more important, talk about what we have to make sure we do and not turn it over. Don't make it as easy for them. Make sure they earn everything they get. And then, they have some great athletes. We got to really do a great job on the boards. And, that's going to be something very important for us.
We'll talk specifically about San Diego and Gonzaga when we come back for our final segment. Still time for a phone call for Coach if you have a question or a comment. 503-542-0910 or 877-535-9100. We'll get into San Diego and Gonzaga, the Pilots' opponents this week, as we come back for a final segment here with head coach Terry Porter. This is the Terry Porter Coaches Show on 910 ESPN Portland.
For nearly 60 years, we've been the team that's on your side. Your friends and neighbors, fighting for your rights and giving you a voice. The team that gives back, supports community causes, and helps people in need. An award-winning team that cares enough to tell the stories of people just like you. So remember that every day, we'll be there when you need us, keeping you informed wherever you go. Because just like you, our home is right here. And that's why K2 is on your side.
Hey, Pilot fans, are you ready to green up your business? The experts at Waste Management know what you're up against. You need recycling and environmental services that are convenient and easy. That's what Waste Management does. And that's why Waste Management leads the industry for service and finding the right solution for you. For a cleaner, greener business, call Waste Management today at 503-249-8078 or click at WM.com. That's Waste Management at 503-249-8078 or WM.com.
Prepare to have your mind blown by Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Lasers.
Can we cut all that? That's not going to convince anyone. Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. And none of this noise is going to convince you that Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste, because the only thing that'll make you believe that is trying it yourself.
And lasers!
No lasers. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
At Les Schwab Tires, we're drivers just like you. We merge, we get stuck in traffic, we go on road trips, and we know what it means to truly rely on your car, which is why we do everything we can to make things right with you and your vehicle. From checking your brakes for free to patching up a flat when you need it. So if that sounds good to you, well, we're right there with you. Les Schwab Tires. Doing the right thing matters.
Thanks to U.S. Bank, your banking is done in a few clicks, so you have time to get more done. Like, wake up, stretch, go to meetings, go to the gym, convince yourself you like the gym.
It's fun. I really like it.
A U.S. Bank checking account with online and mobile access allows banking to fit in your life. Call 800-720-BANK. Visit a branch or go to usbank.com/checking. U.S. Bank, the power of possible. See a banker or visit usbank.com/checking for more information. The U.S. Bank mobile app is free to download. Your mobile carrier may charge access and messaging fees. Deposit products offered by U.S. Bank National Association, member FDIC.
It's the season of sneezes and sniffles, and your Bi-Mart Pharmacy is here to help you keep them away. We have everything you need to stay healthy, including flu shots, currently available for the whole family. Call or stop by your Bi-Mart Pharmacy for available times and get vaccinated today. And be sure to get ready with cough drops, cold medicine, and natural remedies while you're here. Bi-Mart, get ready for your season for less.
The inside story on Portland Pilots basketball. This is the Terry Porter Show on 910 ESPN Portland. Here again is Jason Swigard.
Alongside Coach Porter, welcome back in as we get you ready for a whole week of home action here for the Pilots. Again, tickets available for Thursday night's game against San Diego, 503-943-GO-UP. Or you can go online, portlandpilots.com/tickets. We'd love to see you out there. School will be back in, so everybody's back going to classes. So we hope everybody will go dorm storming there, bring the students out, make life difficult for San Diego, who suffered their first home loss of the season. They lost to Pepperdine 76-71 on Saturday, and the bigger losses than that could be to players. They've been without Isaiah Wright for the last 4 or 5 games. He's got a fracture in his wrist, although they're thinking maybe he might be able to suit up on Thursday for the first time. Olin Carter III, their talented senior point guard, he banged heads with Colby Ross of Pepperdine and was bleeding near his left eye early on, and then he left the game midway through the second half with an abdominal injury that they're uncertain about. Alex Floresca, their 6th man, had a foot injury during the course of that game. So they are coming in banged up, which means they're vulnerable. They don't go very deep, but they've got a lot of senior leadership, a lot of veteran experience, beginning with Isaiah Pinheiro. How do you go about putting together a game plan when you are really uncertain as to just who might be available for them, especially key guys like Isaiah Wright and Olin Carter III?
Well, I mean, Wright, it's hard to determine what he hasn't been playing. They said it was going to be 6 weeks, so I don't know if that, like you said, you don't know what the progress is. And Wright, and Carter with the groin, you don't know. I would anticipate that Carter would play. I'm not sure about Wright. Obviously they're a totally different team when they have 2 upperclassmen and seniors like that who can play. And it takes their offense and their game and their team to a different level when both of those guys are on the floor. So, we just have to focus on guys who played these last week and try to make some proper schemes that we feel is going to help us and give us a chance defensively. Is that man and that zone, and really work a lot on our offense. Again, focus on things that we feel is going to help us get some offensive flow and get some guys into some good rhythm, and really try to get our offense going and get us feeling comfortable about ourselves at the offensive end, taking care of it, not turning it over, getting our offense turned over, getting it side to side, and seeing that ball go through the net.
Well, and this will be a team, they really only have one true big guy in Yalan Masalski, who they don't go to a ton for points. He gets a lot of stuff on either drives, and he's there available, or offensive putbacks, but how do you – this could be an advantage for some of the bigs. You look at maybe Hugh Hoagland. If they don't try and double-team him, he might have some room to operate in the paint a little bit. Maybe D catching at the high post and making moves. He's had some nice moves in the last couple of games, both against BYU and Pacific, where he was able to get at the top of the paint and then make a move down low. Seems like there'd be opportunities to try and establish the bigs against the Toreros.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on it's all about matchups. If Pinheiro plays 4 and he's on D, obviously he's a better defender than one of those other bigs are. He has a better chance of guarding somebody on the perimeter, but those other bigs doesn't as well. They don't have that. They haven't shown that consistently. And then Hugh in the post, again, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of them doing a lot of doubling in the post. They obviously try to do a good job of battling and push the bigs off the floor, out on the floor, and then trying to not give them a deep post-up. So both of them will have opportunities. I think it's been important for them to try to get established early, try to get some easy baskets down there, try to get some fouls drawn, and then they have to, do a good job of walking up to the free throw line and knocking down shots and finding their rhythm on the free throw line.
Isaiah Pinheiro, their leading scorer, 20 points, 9 rebounds a game for him. He does it more in the mid-range. He will shoot the 3, but that's not his main thing. He likes to get it on the floor, drive, get into the paint, make moves there, mid-range jumpers. What's the key defensively starting on him? And is there a particular matchup initially that you like, at least from a man-to-man standpoint?
Well, I think for him, I mean, they've with some of the injuries, they've had to move him to the 3 spot. Last year when he did a lot of damage, he was at the 4 spot. So I assume they're just going to do what they've been doing. He's going to start at the 3 and then go to some 4, and then that's going to give us a better chance to match up with one of our 3s. Josh will probably match up with him, and so it'd be more of a better chance in regards to staying with him in transition, staying with him at half court. Obviously, he's going to try to post Josh up, but still – Josh just got to battle him down there, wide him, and try to push him out as much as he can, not letting him get deep post-ups. But with any type of score that get 20 points, the important thing for us is just not to let him get anything easy. In transition, back screens and all that stuff they do a good job with their offense, and it's very, at times, a lot of picks and flares and backdoors and split action. So we really have to be on top of our game, and we really have to be communicating really well and working through those situations and making sure, like we said, there is no slippage. All of a sudden, somebody says switch and we don't switch, and the guy goes back door and gets a layup out of it. So those are the type of baskets that we have to really try to eliminate and not let these guys have those type of shots.
At the other end of the floor, outside of Masalski, one of the things that is a benefit for them is they're all similar. They're 1 through 4. They can really switch screens, whether they're in a zone, whether they go man. They're more than willing to switch all off, so it's not really – they don't have to stick with particular man-to-man matchups. How does that affect the offensive approach, and where can you exploit all that switching that they do?
Well, we got to do a better job of just seeing it and splitting it and reacting to those type of, maybe curling more, going back door more, doing little things like that. Making sure the screens are big on small. Even if they do that, then can we go in the post and really try to take advantage? I mean, with Carter on one of our bigs, can we try to get him in foul trouble? We really have to do a good job when they do switch small onto big, that we have the patience to throw the ball in the post, because most likely they then will come in double, and then that's going to allow us the space to kick the ball out and try to give guys an opportunity to knock down shots and drive it and draw fouls.
Well, you've had some experience and some success against Toreros in the last couple of years. Had the big win a couple of years ago at the conference tournament. Played them well down there, so certainly an opportunity for that. Obviously, it'll have to be a little adjustment or being ready for several different looks from them. They've been forced to play several freshmen with the injuries that have occurred. So, but guys really looking at this as an opportunity that they could take advantage of on Thursday.
Well, yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. We've had, good vibes against these guys here in our building and at their building. Obviously, we had a very close game here last year that they came back and won, which we probably should have won in regulation, but they made the plays, and we turned the ball over, and then we were able to play really well down there. But we've had the proper formula to be in these 2 games, and so now we have to continue to just play at that level and continue to make shots and do the things that we've talked about that's made us successful the last 2 times we played these guys.
That'll be 7 o'clock Thursday. We'll have pregame here on 910 beginning at 6:30. And then Saturday night, the main event, Gonzaga, number 5 in the country. They come in as healthy as they've been all season. Killian Tilly is back. He's got 3 games under his belt. Gino Crandall is back with them. He missed a few games there. But they've got Rui Hachimura, Brandon Clark, Zach Norvell Jr., Josh Perkins for Novell, and Hachimura and Perkins, and then Kispert as well. Those guys all back from last year's team. They are playing at as high a level as we've seen Gonzaga play. And that includes their run to a national championship game a couple of years ago. What's impressed you the most about what Mark Few's got this year?
Well, the depth. I mean, you talk about the depth they have and the ability to have, really all the boxes checked. They got size, they got athleticism, they got shooting, they got the ability to defend the rim, they got the ability to defend on the perimeter. So that's going to be, a difficult task for us. But again, it's an opportunity for us to continue to come out and compete. And it's all about going out and competing against a team like that and to have them come and compete against us on our floor, which is good for us. So we're excited about the challenge. Obviously, we know how great a team they are and what all they bring to the Chiles Center. But we're excited about the challenge of going out and competing against them.
When you put together, when you're playing a team like that, or, when you played North Carolina in the PK80, where do you go about putting the seeds in your team's mind, not that they're a top 10 team or a Final Four team of this is what they are, this is what they do, here's the things, here are the places where they're vulnerable, here are the places where we can take advantage of. Yes, we have to play our best game. Yeah. But how do you break it down so their thoughts are focused on, okay, if I do this and I do this, this is my responsibility and my role and helping my teammate, as opposed to staring at Gonzaga on the chest right in front of them.
Yeah, and I think the important thing there, like you said, is a mindset. Our guys have to go in that game and be ready to compete, not to say, oh, my God, who we're playing, and start, losing before you even play the game. I mean, I think we have to understand how we are successful at both ends of the floor, what makes us and gives us a chance, and how do we have to play at both ends of the floor. And those are things we talk about in regards to our prep. But whenever you play somebody of that stature, it's about your ability to make shots, your ability to limit their easy baskets, and them not trying to turn you over. I mean, that's a team that really tries to, again, they try to get into you. They try to turn you over, try to get out in open court, try to get easy buckets. They do a good job with their bigs who can score it multiple ways, and their perimeters who can also, beat you off the bounce, but also have great spacing and can knock down big-time threes.
Well, it'll be an exciting week at the Chiles Center. Looking forward to guys continuing to make the improvement. Opportunity with San Diego to get that first conference victory. They could be vulnerable as well, and then it's always exciting to take your shot at Gonzaga. Wish you the best of luck with the guys this week, and hopefully another couple of good days of practices. That's always important. Keeping, as you said, spirits are good, so keeping them up, keeping them positive, and looking ahead to opportunity, as you say.
Yeah, just getting them to continue to work what we have to trust the process, that we're going to be getting better and better each day, and get a chance to get out there and compete and get some wins.
That'll wrap things up for us tonight. Again, 5:30 on Thursday, or 6:30, pardon me. That'll be pregame as the Pilots take on San Diego. Thanks to Preston Highfield, our producer, as always. Thanks, Coach, for sitting in for the hour.
Thank you. You're more than welcome. Good. Always a pleasure to be here with you.
We'll appreciate it, and we'll wish you the best of luck. We'll see you Thursday evening here on 910 ESPN Portland. Have a good night.
This has been the Terry Porter Show with the head basketball coach of the Portland Pilots. Tonight's show was brought to you by your local Les Schwab Tire Center, by U.S. Bank, Coca-Cola, by Nike, Alaska Airlines, Geico, by AAA Oregon, and by Mart. Join us for University of Portland basketball all season long on 910 ESPN Portland.